Today, I'm going to talk to you about the journey of entrepreneurship. If you're thinking of starting out, here are the unglamorous pieces about the startup journey that you will need to know before you start, because that 0 to 1 period of any startup is what makes or breaks not just the startup, but also the founder. So, there are two things that you will have to get used to if you're starting out. One is being broke, and the second is being broken. And in this two-part video, I will cover both of them. So let's talk about being broke, right? The first thing is that your savings will be entirely wiped out because you will need to put in your money where your mouth is. You will be your initial believer, and you will have to back that up with your money, because if you're not willing to do that, then you're not even ready for this journey, because you can't build a business off somebody else's money. You need to lose your money to kind of understand the value of making that money back. And honestly, investors also look for that, because they're not willing to put in money in an idea. They put in money on a business model. And therefore, to get from an idea to a business model stage is a long journey. It could happen in 6 months for some people, it could take 3 to 4 years also for some. And that entire journey needs to be funded by your own money. The second thing that you'll have to get used to is that you will not have a steady source of income. In the initial years, just having enough money to pay your salaries and your company bills is going to be the most important thing. So, in a good month, you may be able to take out some money, but most bad months, you will just be able to cover, if you're lucky, that is, be able to cover your employee salary. So there's no question of a steady income. Income tax returns will become a joke for you for the next couple of years. So how do you really survive, this journey of being broke in that early years? You will just have to learn to live a life of less. You will have to break out of everything that you were doing and understand that you need to stop spending because you're not earning, and yet there's no pool to kind of eat out of. So you will need to stop shopping, stop eating out, stop traveling, stop going out for parties, everything. And plus, what will also happen is, because you'll break out of your current state of finance, you will not be able to match up to your peer circles and go hang out with friends in the same way that you were hanging out, or even with family. So it could get embarrassing. It does get embarrassing when you don't have the money to put in. So all you do is you look for excuses to not be a part of it, and which obviously then takes you out from the social circle, which I will talk about in the second part. But yeah, being broke becomes embarrassing. And you will therefore cut yourself out from a whole bunch of things. And well, you can either live like that for a few years, or you can like try and be cool like I did by saying that you become a minimalist, because truly, when you cut out all of those fanciness from your life, you'll be surprised at how little you really need to kind of live this life, right? Now, there are 5 things that you should consider on your finances if in case you're planning this journey. Number one is your savings corpus. Now, I started out early in my career, and hence I didn't ever had that much corpus to invest. But the later you start, you will have a large corpus to put in. But what will also happen is that you'll be that much more attached to your retirement kitty, and therefore, you will hesitate to pull that out. The second thing you have to consider is whether you have a lifestyle that you have set for yourself, which you'll be able to break out of or not. If you have a fancy house, a fancy car, which needs maintenance and spending on every month, will you be able to break out of that travel and all of those lifestyle pieces that you have set for yourself or not? The third thing you'll have to check in with is, do you have dependents? Because if you have dependents like your kids and your family, then it's that much more tougher to be able to do that. Fourth thing, EMI. Are you living in that EMI loop? I started early out. I did not have EMIs, lower risk, easier to break out of. But if you have EMIs, it's going to be fairly challenging for you to consider. And number 5, and the most important, do you have a partner, a life partner that will support you through this space of being broke? Because 2 things will happen. One is they'll have to fund your life and your lifestyle if you want to continue to make it. Though I would suggest not to have that kind of dependency. I never had. I did not have a partner for the most part of this journey. So I had to learn from my brokenness. And that is the biggest motivation for you to break out of that space, because nobody is funding you anymore. You need to figure out how to break out of that space. But the second thing that will happen because of this brokenness with your life partner is that it's going to put a lot of strain on your relationship itself. And that again, we'll talk about in the broken part. But your relationship is going to get strained because you don't have the money that you had earlier. And no matter how much love and care and all of that, but when it comes down to paying bills and you don't have that money, that relationship is tough to manage. So think about all of these things and think about whether you're prepared to be so broke, because you can't imagine it right now how broke you will get till you actually get there.